What about you, buddy? You're from another planet, aren't you?
Nah, man, I'm from Miami.
You didn't come in on like a meteor or...
Nope. Woke up in a hospital, first thing I remember.
Government hospital. Yes? Experimenting on you and...
No, regular old Miami emergency room.
Come on.
Yeah, my skull was fractured. They told me I tried to stop a mugging.
Somebody knocked you out.
I guess I was a regular guy before, and when I woke up, I was changed.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
You've ruined the movie now. No one can go back and make sense of it.
Yeah, but he's more kind of a likable dick.
I could see a body explode and be okay.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
So good.
You sound so tired and worn out.
Sorry, that was my frustrated impression that I'm gonna have to get off my butt and save the world, and I don't really feel like it right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, too bad. Bad guys, Andrew. There's bad guys over there. All right. This is Cheap Seat Reviews, and this is something. We're the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. We already did this part. Oh, my gosh. I'm so tired. This is episode 352. Right? We did that part, right? Yeah, the greater good? Yeah, okay. God, I'm so out of it. This is
you
episode...
can never have enough greater good. Apparently, that's the story.
Are you sure I'm not? I mean, you're not the tired one? Maybe we're both tired.
We're both. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. This is episode 352, and tonight we're talking about Hancock. Hancock. I am Sean Allred. I know. I got easy. Okay. I'm Sean Allred.
This wasn't explicit.
I did say it's not just a little explicit, I guess. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. My ass was hot, Jimison.
Yeah. I know Sam's not with us, but if he was going to kill you in this movie, he would just have you stand on the other side of the room when Will is, when Hancock is, well, when he's Hancocking.
Yeah. 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 So I guess that means you watch the unrated version.
Don't stand in the line of fire, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah. It's such a dumb scene. I'm so glad they took that out of the movie, out of the theatrical version. And making his Cheap Seat Reviews debut is Jim. Will podcast butt-ass naked before wearing that costume from Film Rage.
That is true. I do love to be naked.
I mean, he's naked right now, but fortunately for us, the green screen is giving him the illusion of a shirt.
And swing.
Yeah. I don't want to know what that swing was about. Yes, this is it. This is the movie, 2000 and something's Hancock. I don't have IMDb pulled up to tell me what it is, which is really unfortunate because I've only been sitting here chatting with you guys for 20 minutes. So 2008's Hancock, starring Will Smith, and directed by Peter Berg. We're going to talk about Peter Berg a little bit more in a few minutes. But Andrew, please tell us, what is Hancock?
Hancock is a superhero whose ill-considered behavior regularly causes damage in the millions. He changes when the person he saves helps him improve his public image.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of right.
Yeah.
It seems
nailed it.
It seems kind
IMDb sometimes just nails it.
They do sometimes. It seems kind of lame, I think, but what do I know? Usually IMDb is pretty lame. Usually.
It is true. I wonder who actually does the writing, because sometimes you'll go in there and there'll be like 4 different synopses. Okay, so the one for Hancock was written by Ahmet Kozan. And then just keep going down. There's a whole bunch of people that just added. You can just go in there and do whatever you want.
You really
we should do a collective one. The three of us.
Well, you can. I mean, all you really need is an IMDb Pro account, and you can make any kind of adjustments. There was an idea we had probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, of having like this was before Buy Me a Coffee was a thing, but like basically doing a GoFundMe to pay so that I could pay to have a IMDb Pro account, and for every movie that we do, putting in the trivia, this movie was reviewed by Cheapseat Reviews.
Imagine how many clicks you'd get. That'd be awesome.
We might get at least one. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One whole click. Speaking of one whole click, this is so behind the scenes inside baseball, but I recently rediscovered that our website, cheapseatreviews.com, is still active. I thought I closed that account, but apparently it's still a thing. So
You found out when you got the bill, right?
no, I turned it off. I don't. It's just a parked site. I mean, I still own the domain, and which I still pay for, which is like what, $12 a year. But it's on. I used WordPress back when I used it, when I updated it, and WordPress still has it, and I can actually manage it for free. WordPress has a free version, right? Because I'm paying for the domain through them, and so there's there's very limited things what I can do with it, but. I'm sitting here looking at it going, do I want to get back into trying to update a website again? No, I really don't. I just don't. We don't need a website. We don't need a website. Well, I mean, because Libsyn, who hosts our podcast, gives me one for free. It literally, when I hit submit on a new episode, within 5 minutes, there is now a web page for that episode where you can go in and click on it and find our social media. I don't need to do that manually. I let Libsyn do it. And frankly, we don't have merchandise. We if you're listening to this show, you know all these things. Now, in 7 years, no one has ever said, hey, you guys should have merchandise. We would buy it. No one has ever said that. No one wants my dumb chair on a shirt. So
I do.
Oh, well, okay.
No, I'm never going to get it.
Not from me, you're not. I guess you could always
steal your logo and go to a print shop.
Absolutely. Or my wife has a Cricut. So, I mean, she could, do the logo, print it out, and put it on a shirt. Would that be lame for me to do? Have her put that on a shirt, my own shirt? Is that weird to put your own?
Sure. It's advertising, man. I wear my shirts all the time. I've got probably 10 of them.
Nice.
Of our Film Rage. All different styles, flavors, colors, tastes.
That's cool. Yeah, we don't do stuff anyway. But no, what we do. We review Hancock. That's what we're going to do. All right. So 2008's Hancock. This movie, some people don't like it. Some people do. This was interesting. An interesting movie, in my opinion. It's one of those movies that it kind of feels like either you like it or you hate it. But there's very few people that are just like, that's fine. So had either one of you seen this before, this review?
I have. Yep.
Yeah,
I saw it in theaters.
Once, maybe when it came out, but I didn't see it in theater, so I guess a little after it came out.
Okay, wow. So you saw it in theater. I think I did too. I can't remember. 2008? Yeah, I
know, that's so long ago, right? It's like, I remember not hating it when I went and saw it originally.
Yeah.
So when you said, hey, do you want to watch Hancock? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Has a $150 million budget. Worldwide, it made $629 million.
Not too shabby?
No, it's not too shabby at all. It made $227 million in the U.S. alone. So, I mean, it made its money back.
And this is Will Smith, pretty much at the height of his career, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the start of a run of bad movies for him, right? Is that fair to say? Because we're past. Let's see. Let me get down in here. So he does Hitch. Let's see. Bad Boys 2 is 03. iRobot is 04, which I really like iRobot. He does Shark Tale, then Hitch. And then The Pursuit of Happiness, which was in 06, which was the closest he's going to probably ever get to an Oscar, which was a really good movie.
Oh, Ali.
Ali, you're right. Yeah. I Am Legend, which I liked. I liked I Am Legend. And then he does this, and then 7 Pounds, and then Men in Black 3. And I think Men in Black 3 is kind of like a stopping point, right? Because then he does After Earth, which is terrible. He's in, I don't know what Winter's Tale is. He was in Focus, which I actually liked Focus. And then Concussion, which I did not see. Suicide Squad, which I've seen some of, but I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't good enough for them to not make a second movie just a few years later. Collateral Beauty, which I heard was not good. We did watch him in Bright, which again, I liked Bright. Aladdin, I thought he was fine in Aladdin. And then Gemini. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it was just, maybe I don't know.
He's not making the best choices.
No, not. Yeah, After Earth was kind of. I think After Earth was so bad that it just felt like he'd done more bad movies than that. But I mean, I know people that hate Bright, that think it's terrible, and I don't think it's terrible. I actually kind of like it. We had a good time. I had a good time with it. Andrew, I don't remember what you gave it, but he's making a second Bright. There's going to be a Bright 2 coming out.
Yeah.
What an original title name.
Well, maybe they'll come up with something brighter. I don't know.
If you liked
call it
Bright,
Bright.
just wait till you see Brighter.
Speaking of Bright, this is funny. I was looking for a specific audio clip for something else. I don't remember what I was looking for, but I was looking for, and because of the keywords and the way I write down my clips, this particular clip is the one that came up, and it made me laugh. So this is from Bright. If you've not seen Bright, this won't make sense, but if you have, enjoy this moment. Oh, why is my volume down? That's weird. Let's try that again.
I'm not giving that guy the wand. Over my dead body. He's gonna have to kill me first.
So you want to die in a gunfight in a nasty ass titty bar? That's what you want?
I don't want to die anywhere.
Well, you know what? Now I do. I want to die. Let's do it right now. We're going to titty bar gunfight die. Let's do it right here, right now. You ready? I just wish your dumb ass was a better shot.
Nice.
I love it. I really do. Okay. Anyway, so on to this movie. The last thing I want to mention before we really just talk about our feelings as we share, and you're not allowed to say pass, is Peter Berg, the director Peter Berg. And we've seen him before on this podcast on a movie that we really like a lot, and that's The Rundown. He directed The Rundown. Mm-hmm. That was his feature debut. He did something called Very Bad Things. And then he did The Rundown, which I love The Rundown, unabashedly love it. Then he does Friday Night Lights, which is, I think most people like. And then he did The Kingdom, which, did we watch The Kingdom? I don't think we did.
Is that the one with Pretty Boy? What's his name?
Jamie Foxx and Chris
Orlando
Kidder?
Bloom?
No.
Is it not Orlando Bloom?
No, yeah. Jamie Foxx, Chris Cooper, Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman. We've not watched it. We did.
Okay. I'm thinking. What am I thinking of?
We did Three Kings, which also does not have Orlando. Orlando Bloom is in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's fine. So he directs that, and then he directs Hancock, and then he did something called Virtuality TV movie, and then he did Battleship in 2012, which, Battleship
was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good movie, but honestly, I wasn't bored. I don't know. I thought the lights, it was pretty. He did Lone Survivor, which I've not seen.
It's also not great. No. It's also not great.
He did Patriots Day. And then he did Spencer Confidential, which we watched. Didn't we watch that, Andrew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, he does 3 Mark Wahlberg movies in a row.
Actually, I don't think we did it for the podcast. I think we just kind of watched it.
I think we did.
Did we?
We're getting to the point now where we can't remember, which is great.
No, we've done so many. I don't know what we've seen.
Spencer Confidential, episode 309. Yeah.
Oh, well, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, you gave it a 6.1.
Well, it's a 2020 release, so there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, we did it almost a calendar year ago. We did it August 2nd, 2020.
Apparently, June is Peter Berg month.
Apparently, yeah. Or at least summer. He does. Ooh, dog. He does it does kind of work with the summer kind of thing, though. So, Andrew, please, if you have a... oh, you're muted. Is that because your dog?
He's playing with his puppy.
No, that's fine.
No, she's being a jerk.
Oh,
so
you need to go whatever you're gonna do.
no, I can give you my 5-word review real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I've got 2 actually, and one is more than 5 words because I often break the rules.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's how I live my life. So, first 5-word review is this: call me predictable one more time.
Nice.
Yeah. And then number 2, does Jason Bateman play any other character? Like, I feel like he is the same person in every movie that he's in.
He is the same person in every movie. But he's still, he plays it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him as an actor. But I feel like
it's true, he has no range. He has zero range. Zero range.
I think what would you just see him in when he had the claw hand? What was that?
Oh yeah,
Thunder Force.
Oh, the worst movie
Thunder
ever
Force.
made.
Yeah,
Thunder Force.
I mean, he's literally the same character in that. He just has crab hands.
Isn't he in Ozark though? Isn't he as like a very different?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love him in Ozark, but he's the same character.
He's the same
much.
character.
Oh, is he?
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a second of that show.
Well
it's a good
played,
show.
by
You
the
should
way,
watch it.
and very well played.
So this movie, I said it. It's very predictable. I remember knowing the first time I watched it, knowing that something was up with Charlize Theron, which, by the way, I don't know what her age is at this point, but she's looking great in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just gorgeous. Not like I'm not saying in a creepy way. She's just a beautiful person.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie itself, it makes the plot, I guess, is okay. I don't know if it's the writing that's not 100%. I don't mind the movie. Like I could watch it and I enjoyed watching it, but I don't know. It was just kind of blah. And I know you said people either like it or don't like it, but I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's okay. And I think part of it has to do with the predictability and Jason Bateman, which I don't mind him, but just some silly stuff like we've already talked about in the unrated version, which I didn't realize there was an unrated version, just like you said the other day. But if you go to Amazon Prime, there's the unrated version, the theatrical version, and the 4K version or something. There's like 3 versions of this movie on there.
It's so important that we have 3 versions.
Yeah. Of this movie. Yeah.
Of this particular movie.
Which is actually sad because when I logged in today to pull clips for the show, I got an alert that this movie is going to be leaving Prime in 7 days. So when you hear this, you've got about 5 days to go watch it so that you can be up to date with us. Really, there's only 2 scenes really that are in the uncut version that are not in the theatrical version that I remember specifically. There's 3 scenes and a couple of words. So like the scene that Andrew alluded to earlier. So there's a kind of a sex scene in which this girl is kind of throwing herself, a groupie is throwing herself all over him because he saved her sister or something. And he basically tells her, look, when I get to the mountaintop, you need to be somewhere else. And then when he is ready to go, he throws her across the room, and then what looks like 50 caliber rounds are being shot through the roof of his trailer. And so then she, being very creeped out, she just, runs out. And the reason why that scene wasn't in the original version, theatrical version, is because it's not funny. It just comes across as uncomfortable.
Lewd and uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems out of place for the movie once you've seen the whole movie.
Yeah.
That wouldn't fit in. I can see why it was edited, but I completely would have wanted to see that scene. Like that would have been. I imagine that's what happened to Superman and Lois. Like it's like, how did she survive having sex with Superman? I just don't get it. Makes no sense.
There's several other things about this character that, as far as being a superhero and having powers, that just like for instance, the scene where he's shaving in prison and he's using his fingernails. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but wouldn't his hair and his skin have the same molecular structure that it can't be? I don't know. I always wondered that about Superman. Like, how does he shave?
Yeah, I guess the idea is like he can't, like a razor wouldn't cut his hair. So that the only thing that can cut his own whatever would be himself, right? It's like the Incredibles. The only thing that can penetrate the robot is the robot itself.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the only way that they did it. Because someone thought that, right? Someone, thought, Superman, how does Superman shave? Well, he uses his laser vision in a mirror and he cooks the beard off or something. Like that's what people have said in the past. I don't know.
Maybe he has that, what is it, alopecia? Where he has problems growing hair. He's probably completely bald all over his body. We only get to see his head, so
that's true.
He's got body alopecia because of his
Superman, I assume.
Kryptonite.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe that was something else someone would say. It was like he has a kryptonite razor, like he has like a thin blade of kryptonite. It's
just thin enough to shave with, but not hurt him too much.
I guess. Yeah, it's just seems dumb. Anyway, Jim, do you have a 5-word?
I do have a 5-word. I came prepared. My 5-word review is superhero ass bags don't necessarily fly.
Okay. I guess superheroes want ass bags. Necessarily fly. Yeah, ass bags being word too. I like it. Sorry, I had to do the math there. That's good.
Yeah, I had to keep the ass bags as a word. It
Sure.
didn't make me change it, and superheroes also comes up. So yeah.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Now, what's yours?
Oh, mine. Yeah. Gosh. Well, usually I let people expound when they have their throwing it right to me. Asshole hero becomes good guy. So that's it. I mean, this movie. I will say this is that this movie. We have complained many times where the movie, there's no kind of arc, right? That the hero or the main character is just very flat, so to speak. We don't get any kind of character development or anything like that. In this movie, very specifically, I mean, that's the point of this movie, right? I mean, it's literally the point is that it's to show that he's an asshole, and that through basically a PR firm, he's shown that he can live life in another way where he doesn't have to be an asshole, and he could.
It kind of reminds me of like what's that movie, Shallow Hal Wants a Gal or something, whatever that is.
Yeah, Shallow Hal. Yeah, filmed in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Where it's really just a brief few moments of a person's life and how they're transitioning from a jerk or a slime ball to something else.
Yeah, the plot's like super simple. Like there's no complexities to this whatsoever. If you're going to see the movie because you like Will Smith and you want to see him as a superhero, then kind of to your point, Andrew, is that how much thought do you want to put into the continuity of it? Like there's a scene even in the movie, like I always pick these things out and my wife will go, stop doing that. It's just going to ruin the movie even more for you. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I want. I want it to be ruined. There's a scene and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I had to replay it 3 times. So he's eating a banana in the kitchen and the banana size changes like 3 times. Just like, I didn't see you grab another banana, and yet there's another banana that's longer than the banana that you're eating. So,
yeah, the properties department could only find so many bananas that are pretty close to the same. So,
or he just forgot that he took a bite of one. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably is just simply, they had to, because the problem with scenes when you're eating is that if you commit to the bite and eat, then you have to keep doing it. And there's a lot of like famous, eating scenes where, actors they will pretend to eat because they know if they take a bite, then they have to every time. And what's really gross is that a lot of times they'll have off-camera buckets so that they can spit the food out because they don't want to get full or get bloated or whatever. So it does kind of make you wonder how many bananas were eaten just in that one scene, either eaten or fake eaten.
Yeah,
but I've worked a handful of scenes where we had scenes with food there, and by the time the food by the time we're ready to film, that food is long cold, and you don't want any part of it. And
sushi is not something you want on a film set.
Well, fortunately, we never think that I'm trying to think. So one was a date. Actually, almost all of them were dates. But I remember one, we were at an Indian restaurant, and because the restaurant, that was part of our deal, is that we would use their name in the shot with their menu.
Nice.
That you could see their website. You could clearly see their website as the characters holding the menu, so they're getting free advertising. And then we ate there, but the production paid for a crew of 20 to eat there. So they got a lot of money out of the deal. But so they had this plate of food, but it's mostly rice and some stuff on top or whatever. I don't really remember what it was, but I do remember by the time we finished the scene, because whenever you have a scene, unless you're a really big production, you have multiple cameras. We only had one camera, so we do all of your scene, and then we have to turn around and do the others, whatever. So that food was gross. Once we pushed in for like real close shots, we had to get the food out because it smelled bad. That food was plated and sitting there for probably 3 hours.
Oh yeah,
for a scene. My favorite side story, I have to tell this, and I know I've told on the podcast before, so any of our longtime listeners will have heard this. But we were filming this scene, and so I'm the sound mixer on this particular production. So as a result, I have my own monitor. So I have a feed coming out of the camera and I have my own monitor so that I can make sure that my boom operator doesn't dip into the shot. And I have a little microphone so I can communicate with my boom op, say up or down or whatever we need to communicate. So I'm watching the shot through my monitor, but I'm not watching it like a videographer, right? The camera guy is looking at the frame and he's looking at the actors. I'm looking at the edges, whatever. And I noticed in the background on take 5 that the extra that's in the background is starting to choke.
My God.
He's choking and he's gagging and making those noises like he can't breathe. And so I'm the first one to see it. I'm like, guys, cut. We got to help that guy. And so we all kind of scramble and we rush over to the guy. I'm like, you okay? He's like, oh no, I'm fine. And the director goes, what are you doing? And he goes, I just thought it would be more interesting if the background character started choking on food. It'd be more realistic. And he's like, you cannot do anything to take focus off of the actors. That is not your job. You're an extra. You're supposed to.
That's like a scene from a show too. Like I've seen that in a show somewhere. Oh my God. Like a comedy, like a sitcom.
Yeah.
I want to say Extras or something.
It was too funny.
That's hilarious.
Is that the British show?
Yeah, that's Ricky Gervais. I think there's a scene.
Yeah. I've seen that.
That's
good show.
Anyway, sorry, I have to tell that story whenever I can.
It's a good one.
So Andrew kind of told us his feelings on the movie. Jim, you haven't really said. You said you saw it in the theater, and you said you don't remember hating it then. What about now? Kind of what are you sitting on this with this movie?
It's kind of funny. The more I'm aging, the more I don't love, like, action used to be my genre. Like, I used to love action movies, and I just, as I've started to age, like, I just get really tired of predictable scripts and just cookie cutter plots that just go exactly where everything you want to think about it. So, if I was, depending on the state of mind, I think the state of mind when you watch a movie has so much impact on whether or not you're going to enjoy a film or not. I've seen movies where I'm like, man, I should have really liked that movie more. And it was because of my attitude when I was watching it. So when I was watching this, I was like, you know what? I kind of miss Will Smith from this era. To your point, Sean, it was like, I don't remember liking much of him lately. So it's kind of like, I want to go back and see something where I was like, enjoyed Will Smith when he was being Will Smith. So I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was meh. Like on our podcast, we have 3 ratings. It's rage, mondo, or meh. And it was just meh for me. I'm on the same page as Andrew. It's predictable. The whole Charlize Theron, it's true, she's super gorgeous, but it's like it was too obvious that there's something between them, and I think they could have done that. I think a lot better. So when you start picking apart the holes, that if it's supposed to be a big reveal and it was too obvious, right? Then it's just not as fun a movie. But it's quirky and it's fun. He throws the car from the train on top of the back, and how he meets Jason Bateman's character. Like, there's some funny bits there that it's just kind of, if you think of yourself as a superhero, and you're maybe not the nicest guy, and I mean, you got to be tired of just being always careful about everything, right? It's like you can kind of get inside his head, right?
I wondered as I was watching it, like, why bother?
Yeah.
Why
I
does
think
he
that's what he
bother
was feeling.
saving these people if he doesn't care to do it?
Yeah.
I felt like the motivation was a little off.
Yeah. I can kind of see what you're saying with that. It's definitely one of those things. It's kind of, I think because he's maybe an asshole, but he doesn't want to see people die. Right. Like, I think he ultimately doesn't want that because he's got at least somewhat has a soul or a heart, I guess you'd say. So I think that's probably more of what it is. But
there's also there's a line in the movie that Shirley says. It's when she's in the hospital with him, and there is something that she says early in the movie that has always kind of annoyed me. But we'll get to that in a second. But when she's in the hospital and she said, "You were wired to be a savior of people. Like, that's how you were built. He was built to be that thing." So I don't necessarily think it's just the fact that he has heart and soul. It's partly programming in that he feels...
It just happens.
He feels obligated. Yeah. It's kind of like Spider-Man, right? Like with the great power, great responsibility thing. But like, you're right. He doesn't like people, but I think it also comes from his backstory in which he says, how much of an a-hole must I have been if no one came to claim me? So he's been alone for 80 years in his brain. And so, why bother, I guess, is, where it comes down to. So anyway, I don't know. I like this movie. And Jim, to your point specifically, and we've talked about this 100 times, if not 352 times, and that's... Our moods can affect our viewing experience. And there have been times where I watched a movie and hated it because I was in a bad mood because of work or family or whatever, life, and then got on the show, and then the other guys talked me into liking the movie more. And then that's happened several times. That happened recently. Andrew, I can't remember what it was, but there was something recently where I was like, guys, I don't really know. And then we got to like rankings and I gave it a rank and you're all like, oh, well, that's a lot higher than I thought you were going to do. I don't remember what it was, but
I don't either. It's happened a few times.
It has. It really has. Where it's just like, I didn't really want to watch this movie, but this was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did, kind of a thing. So anyway, I don't know. I like this movie. I do. and I think that's okay. And I like Will Smith. I like iRobot, and yeah, he's kind of the same thing in this movie. He's Will Smith. When you hire Will Smith to be Will Smith, and to get those kind of not just one-liners, but these kind of fun little. It's the little things that I like that he does. When we watch Gemini Man and he asks clone him, why did they send you? And he says, because I'm the best. And he's like, obviously you're not the best, as he's holding the gun to his head, right? It's like those little lines are what I like. And, I mentioned earlier the line where he says that he will fight crime butt-ass naked before he wears that. Just that line doesn't work with anyone.
I feel like that's clearly him, Yeah. And I wonder if some of that stuff is improv on his part.
I'm sure it is.
Well, he comes from
a funny guy.
Yeah, he comes from a comedy background. He comes from a music background, right? Yeah. Like you think of where he comes from. He's a pretty well-rounded entertainer, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's a likable guy. People. Yeah, I don't. As much as you may say, he's maybe not always making best choices, but I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I go, oh, I hated him in the movie.
Yeah,
no,
even Suicide Squad was.
Yeah.
He was okay in the movie, even though the movie wasn't really great. It was okay, but
it's a superhero movie. They're all the same. Like there's basically every superhero movie is exactly the same. There's a villain, except for in this one there wasn't really a villain, but
right.
This is an exception to all superhero movies. There's a villain and there's a good guy and there's usually a backstory, and then the movie ends, and then they make the sequel.
I think, like we've said, this is a character study more than it is a superhero film. And I think that might be why some people don't like it, because they went in expecting it to be more of a superhero action film, which there is some action. And it's decent action, but it's not much.
It's not much because his interaction, so most of the time he's interacting, he's Superman, right? It's Superman fighting regular crooks, there's no contest. It's, it's unfair. And so that's why this movie turns it on his side, where he's destructive and uncouth and whatever. And my favorite scene in the movie is the bank scene, because we finally get to see him not be an asshole. And there's a little bit of comedy, and then there's still a little bit of action in that moment. And there's so much chaos happening around it, because it kind of reminded me of Swordfish, with the explosion at the beginning of Swordfish, which is the only good part of that movie, is the bomb blowing up with the ball bearings. But to your point specifically, every other superhero movie that we're used to seeing. By 2008, though, we have to admit, the only superhero movies we've gotten to this point are around it, right? I'm not talking about like the original Batman in '89. I'm talking about in the aughts. Right, we've got 2 bad Fantastic Four movies. We've got 2 good, in my opinion, Spider-Man movies, and we've gotten the Batman Begins, which is really good. So, in that era, when we have another superhero movie, I guess people maybe thought it would be of that ilk, and because he's not fighting another powered person.
Yeah.
Now of course the movie does have to make him vulnerable, otherwise him just beating up idiots isn't a fun watch. You need to have the struggle, and you need to have a reason why he has to overcome, right? That's part of also most superhero movies, is they have to overcome the thing, because the bad guy usually is more powerful than the good guy. And that's why they have to overcome the thing through whatever means, being clever or being more powerful or more smart, or just having their Popeye moment, whatever that is. And in this case, he was injured enough, or he was weakened enough because of the plot needed him to be, that the fight scene in the hospital had more consequences to it, which I liked. I liked that scene in the hospital. And of course, when Bateman takes an axe to that guy, it made me laugh out loud.
Jason, go.
Yeah, because you didn't see that coming at all. I didn't see that him wielding an axe. He's sitting next to an axe. You see it, But then when
Yeah.
he cuts off the guy's hand, he's like, "You didn't!" And then he hits him. He cuts him with the axe, which is pretty gnarly.
So, this movie, when Deadpool came out, it did remind me of this, and I feel like Deadpool was so much more successful because it did go all the way, didn't hold anything back. And I feel like if this character had gone on, I think they kind of set it up for a sequel that we never got, which is okay.
Yep.
But had it gone on to be something more like that, it might have been more enjoyable. I don't know.
Just do on full on hard R and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. This is a movie where it's just one of those things where there's just I see why you guys, and not just you two, but like many other people didn't love this movie, and it doesn't. There's just something not quite right about it, but I can't put my finger on it. There's a couple of things that I wish they would have given us a little bit more explanation. Like, we know that Charlize Theron can make it hot in the room, but like when they start fighting, the weather goes crazy, and she obviously can make tornadoes, but I think he is controlling the lightning. But like, we don't get an explanation of that a little bit. I'm not saying you have to midi-chlorian it. I'm just saying
it's a little ambiguous though as to what's happening as far as their powers are concerned.
Yeah, because
they don't really spell out their powers too. I mean, they obviously have a ton of powers that we still don't even know about.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe they were going to do a sequel. I didn't really look up to see if they were going to.
They're in the trivia. So I read all the trivia. And fortunately, this movie, unlike the last few, did not have 1,000 entries on trivia. So I actually was able to read it all. This was planned to be like a trilogy or something. There was going to be a lot more, not a lot, but there was going to be at least another one. And maybe we get more backstory into that. I did read in the trivia, because this is based on a comic, I think, or something. This is not, Peter Berg didn't invent this, or the writers didn't invent this. This is based on something.
It's not DC or Marvel, but it's something.
Vince Gilligan was one of the writers, so it may be something that he wrote. I don't know.
There's a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And then Hancock goes to making crack. There you go.
Yeah. Well, it's actually the kid that called him an asshole. He went on to
actually, you know what? I think I'm wrong. I do think that this is an original idea, because this script has been floating around for about 10 years before they finally filmed it. Because I'm looking back through the trivia. Yeah, this might have been an idea that someone had for the script. The original script was actually a lot darker, more violent, and they wanted to lighten it up. Because again, in 2008, well, I mean, think about 2005 when this script was finally picked up. We didn't have dark superhero movies. We just didn't.
Yeah.
You know, Batman Begins was the
went over better though.
It might have, but there was no way that they would have known that. You know, like we hadn't had. We had Blade. Blade is hard R, but it's not dark. It's just violent, but it's not dark. And then when
He's got a bit of a dark personality, though. Like Blade's personality is pretty dark.
I mean, it is kind of dark, but he still says Wesley Snipes things. You know, he still kicks a guy and calls him an MFer.
Whips.
And Whistler says funny things too. You know, so I mean, I don't know it. And especially the second one when Del Toro got a hold of it, it really feels like a comic book movie at that point. Which I love that one, by the way. I love Blade 2.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Blade
favorite.
2. Oh yeah. He's one of my favorite directors. So
he's great.
He can do no harm.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm going to go through a couple of my notes though, real quick, as we continue on. I did like how we get. There's a lot of the kind of the eagle foreshadow. I guess it's a foreshadow. I don't know. I mean, there's an eagle on the bench. I mean, obviously it's on his hat. But there's like an eagle on the bench, and there was another eagle I remember seeing, other than the ones that he drew. It was somewhere else. I can't remember. and I'm going to read some trivia about why that matters, the eagle, in a little bit. I did write, haha, flying into seagulls is something Superman never had to deal with. I just think that I thought that was funny. Yeah, just, because it's not something you think about. You see Superman fly and it's just so sexy, and he's flying with alcohol in his hand. He's running into birds and getting bugs in his mouth. It feels more real that would actually happen. Like he almost hit the plane and things like that.
If only the CGI at the beginning was good enough that we believed it was real.
Yeah, the CGI doesn't hold up very well for a $150 million movie.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at the end. I noticed it. I think it was like the last scene where there's like a cityscape. It just looked terrible.
Well, the shot when they're putting the moon in the background of the two of them kissing looked real bad. I mean, that's green screen. That's like 1980s green screen bad. It is.
Blue screen.
Well, yeah, blue screen. I mean, it looks like a composite shot is what it looks like. It looks bad. I mean, it's kind of unforgivable for 2008, in my opinion. I mean, we're almost 10 years past The Matrix, right? Like, get your stuff together, guys. I think, we're what, 6 months away? No, this is the same year as Iron Man. We just hadn't come out yet, I don't think.
And when did Avatar come out? Because that's the
Avatar
the
was 2010, right?
Okay.
Avatar 2010. Blue people. Avatar.
Not too far after this.
Yeah.
2009 it says, but yeah, close enough.
So this was July of 2008. Okay, so when did Iron Man come out? I mean, I know that's unfair. Iron Man is Industrial Light and Magic. I know that's unfair.
2008. Yeah.
It's 2008 May, so it came out a month earlier. Okay, IMDb, get your shit together. There's no way Iron Man is only a 7.9. Get out
Apparently.
of here. You guys are drunk.
Apparently, a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. So Hancock came out a month later. I mean, that might also be part of the reason why it didn't do as well, because it had to go up against Iron Man in the same summer. I mean, that's Iron Man blew
600 million. Didn't you say like 600 million?
600 million worldwide. I say only. It did 222 in the States, as compared to Iron Man, which again, not quite fair, but Iron Man, same budget, 150 million. Iron Man made, worldwide, Iron Man made less money than Hancock. I would not have bet that.
There you go.
585 million worldwide.
Well, but think about it. Yeah, but think about it. Robert Downey was just coming out of being a drug addict.
Yeah.
And Will Smith's just coming out of being awesome. He's Will Smith. Right? So everybody wants to see a Will Smith movie, but everyone's like, I don't know if I want to go see a druggy play Iron Man.
Well, and I probably thought way so many other people thought is when they announced Iron Man, Paramount Pictures. It was a Paramount production. This is long before Disney. I remember thinking, really? They've run out of ideas. Hollywood's run out of ideas. So and
as a superhero, the first one, it's kind of like, is this the one I wanted to see? Is my first one? They chose Iron Man. It was kind of like, what? Well,
and I remember very specifically, and again, this is something I know we've talked about in the show because we did review Iron Man years ago, and that's when it said Marvel Studios. I thought, oh, they're making their own studio, and so when they did Incredible Hulk, just like the next year, because the previous Hulk was only like 3 years earlier, but it was terrible. And I remember thinking, okay, Marvel's going to have control of things. And then I had no idea what was to come. And then, of course, Avengers came out in 2012, and my world was rocked. But yeah, and you made the reference to the fact that Avatar, was kind of a stepping point. I've also made this point before where we have these breakthrough moments. We have these tentpole movies that make that affect the industry, tentpole wise.
Yep.
So you have like Gone with the Wind, not Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz, first color movie, right? Like changed film, and then and then you got to wait a little while and then get, I think, kind of the next big leap is 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was like 61 or 2 or something. And it kind of changed how we looked at space movies. And then the next big leap is Star Wars, which is 77. And then I think we kind of have to wait a little bit to get to, because there's some good movies in the 80s, but there's nothing groundbreaking, in my opinion, between 77 and 93 when you get Jurassic Park. And that...
Yeah, I think it depends on the genres, though, too, right? Like it's. I know what you mean by tent poles too, where there's certain thing either in, because things like sound, right? Like there's a whole development that happened to sound, right? When you, and you know, like you said, colorization or whatever, right? Like, but I think there was maybe tentpole moments in, say, dramas and stuff, how they changed the way things are shot, or but I agree with what you're saying, that I think that you know, that as far as CGI and for special effects,
but I guess what I'm saying, not just CGI and special effects, because I mean, even Jurassic Park, there's only like 6 minutes of CGI, but that movie changed how the industry approached CGI as a tool, because before then we didn't use a lot of it. I mean, one of the most widely known trivia in Star Trek is that the scene where they're demonstrating the Genesis torpedo, that scene that they filmed was entirely CGI, and it was the first time you had an entire scene filmed using CGI. Using CGI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of a leap forward, but it was such a small sample size that it didn't have a chance to really, and that was Industrial Light and Magic. And in fact, that company that did that would become Pixar. You know, and I do see your point. I do know your point about, you have these kind of, these moments where you make not a documentary, like a drama or a horror film or whatever, and these kind of moments, but those usually don't affect everything past it, right? After The Matrix, everyone wanted to do that style of not just bullet time, but how can we do slow motion and not make it look dumb? How can we make it beautiful and add to the story? And I know, again, that's more of a technical part, but I guess that is mostly my point, is you have these technical advances. And then I think Avatar is kind of the next one. I know that Lord of the Rings was, if we don't have Lord of the Rings, we don't have Avatar. With Andy Serkis and mocap, but I think Avatar is the next step, because what Avatar did was say 3D is a thing and it's here to stay.
And then it didn't. But that's the thing that makes me like. There's nothing since Avatar, in my opinion, that comes close to the tree scene in Avatar. Like when you're in the theaters watching that tree explode, and you can just put your hand out and touch the particles of the tree in front of you, there's still nothing that's come even close to that in 3D.
Well, and it's also mostly because most directors hate filming in 3D, and so they'll 3D it in post, and so it's not as good.
I know what you mean.
It's not as good. So I mean, I watched Avengers Endgame in 3D. Did I? I don't remember now. I might have been 3D, but it didn't need to be. You know, that
none of them do.
None of them really do. Anyway.
I've stopped watching things in 3D just because I get annoyed, and it's just as good, if not better, in my opinion.
Actually, I think the last one I saw in 3D, it might have been Doctor Strange, because I wanted to see that in 3D. Otherwise, I think
that I could see being kind of cool in 3D.
But I think, I don't think I saw Endgame or Infinity War in 3D. I don't remember, mainly because it's so expensive. It's just expensive.
Yeah, that's another thing. I would love to see things in IMAX, but 9 times out of 10, if it's IMAX, it's also 3D.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it 3D.
And I for me, I only see IMAX if it's actually shot in IMAX, which isn't very often. Like if they're just taking a movie and making it IMAX, I'm not interested. But if it's shot in IMAX, then you know it's going to be a good IMAX movie. That happens very rarely now.
Well, the Justice League, the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, the reason why it's 4:3 is because I didn't know that. IMAX film is 4:3 format. I didn't know that. And The one movie I've seen that was true IMAX, we have in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we live, we have an IMAX theater that's a dome. It's one of those huge domes.
Yeah.
And I saw Harry Potter 5 there in the IMAX, and the opening scene, the very opening scene where the camera, it's open, we have the logo, Warner Brothers logo, and then the light comes up and we're overlooking London, or I guess it's Little Whinging, right, whatever it's called. And then the camera pans down and does a 90 degree to look over Harry. It affected me. Like, I was afraid I was going to fall out of my seat because, when you're in those stadium seatings at that IMAX, because it's a dome, the stadium, like, my feet are at the people's head. Like, that's how steep the stairs were. I was gripping my chair because I felt like I was going to fall out. So anyway, couple other things. Let's see. What makes those convicts think that they could stop him? They couldn't stop him on the outside. So what's changed? Like, why did they think that they were gonna gang up on him and hurt him?
That's another thing that really bothered me. I thought, okay, he just completely destroyed you, and you're gonna. I mean, you literally watched him shove one guy's head up another guy's ass.
I know, that was the best scene.
And now we're gonna gang up on this guy and try to take him down with some guns. Yeah.
Well, but my argument is before that part, right? Like, I'm okay with the end because the idea is, like, when they hear that he's in the hospital, I mean, they break out, they're going to go get him. But once they hear he's at the hospital, which, by the way, bad reporting, you would never report that. I don't understand that.
Right.
But anyway, like, you would report the hospital that he's at.
If you want to go there to say hi or kill him.
Yeah, the world's greatest superhero is at a hospital because of a gunshot wound. This is which one he's in. This is the hospital. This is his room number. It just seemed dumb. But anyway, I get why they're trying to gang up on him. I get that because he's vulnerable. But when he gets to prison and they're all standing there like they're going to fight him.
I know.
It's just, I'm sitting there going, he put you all there because you couldn't stop him. So what makes you think that things have changed?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was pretty dumb. I was just looking at it.
Yeah. The only thing that scene serves is to show the guy's head up the other guy's ass. That's all it does, which is, you're not wrong. It is funny.
Which is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
And then we get Human Centipede.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did write, she's obviously figured out a way to have sex without killing Ray.
Yeah,
I don't know. She's not.
That.
I don't. Oh God, I want to say this so bad, but you're gonna have to believe this. They didn't prove that she was a squirter, so I think she's pretty safe.
Maybe her husband is just not that great.
Well, there's that too. Oh my goodness. What else? Right. Let's see. Okay, this is another part. So Andrew knows this, and he might roll his eyes. I don't know, but I get really annoyed when movies portray cops as being kind of bad and making so. I don't like the fact that we get to the Will Smith shows up to the bank scene, and it's a war zone, right? The bad guys are shooting all kinds of major artillery weapons and guns, and for like just 3 or 4 dudes, they were shooting a lot of bullets. I mean, it felt like that they expended more money in ammunition than they would have gained by robbing the bank. But the fact that the police were shooting into a bank in which they knew nothing, they knew they were hostages in there, but they were still firing into the bank, always annoyed me. It's like, they wouldn't do that. Yeah. They would not
there's no way they would do
that. They would never blind fire into a bank like that. That has always annoyed me. But again,
it's funny you say that because there's been a string of movies we've watched in the last little while where it's like they just throw like police etiquette or police knowledge just out the window. Like, just recently we reviewed the movie Spiral, and there's like 5 times where he touches things without gloves on, and I'm just like, what is going like it does kind of eat away at you, right? It's kind of like, and maybe that's why more people didn't like it, because it's just like, and there's another one that just kind of whittles away at your enjoyment of the movie when you go, okay, this doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, I don't think most people, and I'm gonna maybe insult most people, I don't think most people think about cop stuff the way that I do. I mean, I had a cop coworker, and we talk shop all the time, and so like I'm aware of those types of things. I know like the guys rolled their eyes when we reviewed what was that movie, Andrew? Where the cop we reviewed.
The cop movie,
the cop movie, where the guy where it was like everything was terrible and you wanted to shoot your face out because it was so depressing. What was that movie called?
Thunder Force?
No, Thunder Force was terrible, but Thunder Road.
Oh yeah, Thunder Road. Actually, I kind of enjoyed Thunder Road.
I kind of enjoyed it too, but it was a depressing movie. But my point was that that was one of the movies. That was exactly. I hated the moment when I watched it. I was kind of angry that Steven made us watch this movie. But then when we chatted about it, I kind of felt better about it. And then by the end of the day, I ended up giving it a 7.8 out of 10. So, just one of those movies. But like, he's a cop. The movie is about him being a cop, and his cop etiquette is terrible. Now, the main actor is also the producer, director, and writer. But like, it literally felt like he had never met a cop in his life, like a real cop.
Did you expect him to do research as well?
Yes. If you're going to write and direct and act in your own movie, just go talk to
and compose the score.
And he did the score. You're right. Yeah. Just go talk to a cop for an hour.
But he could never do that as well as all those other things. I'm on Team Andrew here.
Of course he could have. There's a TV show on starring Nathan Fillion right now called The Rookie, and I really like that show a lot. And when they first introduced the show, and they're talking about, like he said, this is the car that you see here. It's not a squad car. It's not a police car. It's our shop. This is where we work. This is our office. And so they always call it the shop. So I text my buddy who was, he wasn't LAPD, he was Orange County Police out in California. And I said, is that how you guys refer to the vehicle, as the shop? And he goes, yes, that's real. So I didn't know that. And so.
What a concept.
Right. And so whenever you hear someone say, get the squad car, you know that whoever made that actor say those lines doesn't know better.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the fact that in the show that Nathan Fillion's in, someone took the time to actually teach the actors to say the right words. So I like
he's a good Canadian boy.
Nathan Fillion's the best. He's one of the few. You hear things like "Don't meet your heroes." He's an actor I actually do want to meet.
Have you? I don't know if you've seen the show Big Mouth on Netflix.
I know what it is.
So good. It's so
There's
funny.
a character there that she loves Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
It's her hero. He actually guest stars or
got some appearances on it. Yep.
One of my favorite little college humor skits was the guy that gets in the pool, right? And when he says everyone looks more attractive when they get out of a pool. And so he's like a nerdy looking dude, and he jumps in the water, and then when he comes out, he's like this big buff guy, and he's like, whoa. And then the friend does the same thing, and he's all buff. And then they have a dog. It's like a pit bull, and the dog jumps in the water, and then when she gets out, it's like this hot girl. And they're like, well, what happens if we do it together? And so the three of them go down and then come out of the water, and it's Nathan Fillion. But it's like it's just one guy, and he's like,
it's one unit.
Yeah, it's just one person. He's like, Nathan Fillion? Yeah, he's kind of hot. It's my mom. And then then you get the credits, and then it's like the post credit is you just see the trailer, and you hear Nathan Fillion say, I need some help. I just turned into two nerds and a dog. So anyway, Nathan Fillion's great, is what I'm saying. Last couple notes here is I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times, and when he's telling his backstory and she's crying, it wasn't until this time where I realized she's feeling remorse. It's not just that she's sad because it's a sad story, but she's feeling genuine guilt and remorse. And It actually kind of got me in the feels a little bit, just a little bit. I thought it was good. It was good acting too by her. I just thought it was really, really good acting on her part.
Yeah. To me, though, I mean, even like I said, even the first time I saw it, I knew what was happening here.
Sure.
And so I don't know. I think the predictability took me out of the fact that I was supposed to feel like she's being she's being sad for him for what she's done.
Well, and I don't even think it's just for what she's done. I think it's more about, I think she really does love him, but they can't be together, right? It's kind of that thing of, you know, my better half is moving to LA for a job and I'm staying in New York and I'm not moving, right? It's like, we can't be together even though we want to be together.
So I'm glad you said that, because this is what leads me to the part in the movie that has bothered me. This is in my opinion, the part that bothered me the most is when they're fighting. The two of them are fighting, and you're not really sure why they're fighting. You know, like like he's mad at her for leaving, like for not telling him that she's a thing, and then he calls her crazy, and which apparently her fuse is way shorter than his. It at least takes him like 3 times to be called an asshole before he does something. She hits him with a truck on the first time he says cuckoo, right? So, and then they finally kind of wrestle to the ground, and she screams, "I hate you." And I thought, wow, that's a strong emotion to scream, "I hate you." But we never find out why. We never get a moment where we find out why she hates him. Because then he says he's sorry for whatever he did. But like the last time they were together, they were on their way to a movie, then they got mugged. And in the course of 80 years, she's developed feelings of hate towards this guy. She left knowing he wouldn't know who she is. So why would she hate him? Like, that is never resolved. And that's always annoyed me.
Well, he did say she was cuckoo, so.
But I mean, obviously, yeah. And maybe that's something that he said to her before, and these are hurt feelings of thousands of years. I don't know. But it just felt so, I mean, the way she screams, the way she acts, like Charlize Theron's acting, is that this is a hatred that has been building and building and building, and it comes to a head. Literally, there's storm and tornadoes, and they're fighting and whatever. But like, we never get the resolution. So even when we're at the hospital, and she's filling in the backstory for him and us, the audience, and it's a very sweet moment, and she's talking about how much she loved him, and you got this scar protecting me doing this, and you got this scar protecting me doing that, and you got this. Like, his body is a temple to her, right? Like, or a shield to her. Like Captain America's shield's got all these scratches on it from battle. Like that's his body, and she screams, "I hate you." I just wish the movie would have told us why she hated him. That's all.
Or left that out.
Or you're right. Or just left it out. Just have them have the fight. I don't know. I'm not. Again, the fight doesn't make sense.
They can still fight without her saying that. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it does. I'm glad she also changed into sexy hero costume before they went and did the fight. That was nice.
Yeah,
that's another thing that just kind of took me out of it for a moment, because she's homemaker, hot mom, and then all of a sudden we see her in this like stripper outfit, and I'm like, does Ray know she has this in the closet? I mean,
I think they use that on Saturday nights. That's Saturday night.
That's it. That's kind of all the notes that I have. I did have I do tropes. I talk about tropes in movies. I did write montage. So we do have I guess, do I need to play it, right? I have to play this. That was loud. That's our montage clip. We had a montage of him being in jail and trying not to be an asshole. We also got the slow clap trope. I thought that was nice. That was lovely. And the only hopping man I got, Andrew, this is so dumb, but it made me laugh when I wrote it down, is Aaron's dinosaur. Remember he leaves him the little dinosaur in prison, We never see that dinosaur again. I just assumed that Hancock left it there at the prison. So Aaron's favorite dinosaur, his favorite toy in the whole world, and Hancock is a dick and left it at the prison. So
maybe he has it in his inside pocket, close to his heart.
Maybe, probably not. Hopping Man, Jim, and for anyone listening who's joining us from Film Rage is a trope that we associate to whenever the movie introduces an idea or a character, and then that disappears without any kind of resolution. Go back to 300 episodes and listen to Darkman, and that'll make sense. I guess it wasn't. You were on that show, right, Andrew? For Darkman?
Yeah, but I think maybe I was just filling in for Chad or Corny or somebody.
Oh, okay. I can't remember how long ago Darkman was, but anyway, it's fine. Darkman was episode 101. It was your first episode with us.
Oh,
full time.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. How cool is that? A little history for you there.
There was one other thing that bothered me, and that was the I guess device that the guy was holding, the crook was holding, that was going to blow all these people up. I don't know anything about anatomy other than what I see, but if you cut someone's hand off, do those muscles not just? I mean, do they? What happens there? I feel like
it should have been released. You mean, and that shouldn't have tensed up.
I think what we're supposed to assume is that Hancock is so fast that he throws the blade and then rushes so that when the hand is cut off, he's there to grab it so that he can hold it. I mean, we don't really need that moment. I mean, I think Hancock is probably fast enough to be able to push the button down without the hand, but it's a funny gag watching him walk out with the hand.
With the hand.
Yeah. It's just a gag.
Oh, it's definitely funny, but I just wondered how. Yeah, I didn't know if that would really
rigor mortis causes things to
rigor mortis,
instant rigor mortis, just squeezes instantly.
Instant. All right, time for some clips. I have a few here. Most of them are going to be Will Smith saying things like this one.
But if you don't pull over and give yourselves up quietly, I swear to Christ, your head is going up the driver's ass, his head is going up your ass, and you drew the short stick because your head is going up my ass.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
thing about this.
Yeah, heads up passes. He kind of is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a thing. It's. I mean, but I mean that's the rule of drama, right? Or not drama, of movie making. If you tell me about a thing in the first act, you know we're gonna have to see it in either the second act or third act, and we did see it in the second act. So
yeah, we did.
Oh my goodness. I don't know why this guy is hating on IHOP.
You know, as a concept, free is kind of up there with lethal side effects.
Mandatory product recall.
Get indicted, go to jail,
Get out, work at IHOP for the rest of your career.
I like that. The guy that
pancakes every day for breakfast? Hello. That's my dream job.
The guy that said that line is actually typically a writer and producer. So he is a producer of such things as Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Discovery and some other things.
Some Star Trek stuff.
He's done other things. Those are just the things I decided to say out loud because I wanted to be very clear that he is our obvious Star Trek connection. I haven't done that in a while. It felt good to finally. Akiva Goldsman, I think is his name. Akiva? I don't know. Probably not what I just said. He's also produced Fringe, which is a really fun show. He wrote.
Oh yeah.
He wrote Batman and Robin. But he also wrote Cinderella Man and A Beautiful Mind. So let's not hold that against him.
Oh wait, no, he wrote like Batman and Robin, like George Clooney, Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, he also did iRobot. He did the screenplay for iRobot and I Am Legend and Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code and Lost in Space and A Time to Kill is great. And
You
Batman
can stop.
Forever.
You've kind of started throwing him under the bus now.
I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, it's all over the place, right? Like Batman Forever, not a good movie. A Time to Kill, great movie. Batman and Robin, bad movie. Lost in Space, not a good movie. A Beautiful Mind, great movie. I, Robot, fun. Cinderella Man, good. Da Vinci Code, bad. I Am Legend, fine. Angels and Demons, not good. But then he did Fringe. I liked Fringe. So anyway,
and then he did some Star Wars
or
Star Trek.
Yeah, then he did Discovery, which I like a lot. And
so I wonder if he just had some bad days.
I mean, you know,
some really bad days.
And most of the stuff that
times.
most of the stuff he's directed is TV show. He directed a handful of episodes of Fringe, something called Breakthrough, a couple episodes of Discovery, a couple episodes of the Titans TV show.
It's a good show. That's a good show.
A couple episodes of Star Trek Picard, and he's doing the pilot episode of Strange New Worlds. So, I mean, you know, good on him. Anyway, I didn't mean to spend that much time on that guy. I just like the fact that he said work at IHOP for the rest of your career. I don't know why. It just made me laugh. And also, whenever I think of IHOP, I think of Man of Steel. You know, the bully ends up becoming the manager at IHOP in Smallville. This was also kind of funny. And again, feels like a Will Smith thing.
How about you, Thickness? Goggles?
There you go. So
there is a comment that he makes. That is it probably wouldn't fly too well now, the homophobic comments that he made. That kind of popped out and was kind of like,
it popped out for me too, especially in 2008. We weren't probably as sensitive to that kind of language as we are now. At least he didn't use FAG.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
it's true.
Yeah, but you think about the TV that was on at that time. The Office was happening at that point. And they make all kinds of homophobic jokes and, a lot of things that would not fly today.
Yeah.
This also, again, most of these clips made me laugh.
Did you shove a man's head up another man's ass?
I like that. Yeah. I just love the way he just deadpans it. And then Will Smith just kind of nods like, yeah, I did.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And here's your middle name, Jim, by the way.
I ain't wearing that, Ray.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No, you are.
Actually, I'm not, Ray.
I think you're not, but you are.
I will fight crime butt-ass naked before I fight it in that, Ray.
You know, you have fought naked. We've got that. That's on YouTube.
I'm glad this was filmed
nice,
close, like late enough that YouTube was a thing, so that line still works. You know. Like Iron Man, same year. It dates itself just enough when Tony says, "I don't want this showing up on your MySpace page." It's like, oh,
yeah. What's that? You've ruined the movie now. No one can go back and make sense of it.
Yeah, because it's like, because my son whenever he watches it, which he's 8, so it might be a few more years, but he'll if he gets to that point, he's going to ask me, "What's MySpace?" He knows what Facebook is. He has no idea what MySpace is.
Yeah.
So Andrew and I play video games basically every night. We're not doing podcast related stuff. And one of the people that we play video games with, her name's Melissa. She's been on the podcast. She's a very wonderful person. And of course, she's a she. And so whenever in the game I have to revive her, I use this line. Not all of this, but I say this.
Good job! Do I have permission to touch your body?
Yes!
It's not sexual! Not that you're not an attractive woman. You're actually a very attractive woman.
So, obviously I don't do the rest of the part, but I
actually did think about you when that line came up.
That line came up. You really need to use the whole line, though. It is actually much funnier if you use the whole line.
It is funnier, but typically I don't have enough time to do that whole bit because in the game, because we're playing Battlefield, so like if you're a medic, you just get just a stab. But like if you're not a medic, there's this whole thing where you're like patting the body and then you help them up. And so usually if I'm not a medic, that's do I have permission to touch your body? And that's the joke.
You can add the this is not sexual.
This is not sexual. You could totally add that one.
Yeah.
Or not that you're not attractive. You could add that too. Like, you've got time.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I do. It also mostly comes down to, because I play video games in our bedroom and my wife can hear me. And she knows the movie. She watches these movies with me. She would get the joke. I don't think she would find it funny, though. If I'm saying to another woman the rest of the line. Anyway, that's true. That's all it is.
Right. Yep.
Time for this.
Safety,
now for some more
first.
bad news. Ready?
Safety first, yeah. Trivia. The original screenplay was much darker. Apart from being a lowlife, Hancock was supposed to be a sexually frustrated because he couldn't have sex with a woman without killing her. The MPAA actually cleared a scene involving Hancock's explosive orgasm, but it was removed from the final cut because test audiences didn't find it funny. The tone was lightened considerably for a summer release aimed at a wide audience, but the MPAA gave the film an R twice before language and violence cuts resulted in a PG-13. So like the clip that I played when she says, "Get me the F out of here," and the theatrical version, she just says, "Get me the hell out of here." Yeah. And there's a couple other little moments.
I would have been okay with the scene. And again, this is going back really dark, and this is very Deadpool-esque. But, have him, I don't know. I could see a body explode and be okay.
Okay. Before the film,
I would find it funny, but I'm sick.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Before the film became a Will Smith vehicle, George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Leonardo DiCaprio were all considered for the title role over the years.
Oh.
Thank goodness they didn't.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I can't see Leonardo DiCaprio playing this kind of role at all.
I don't remember him playing it.
Clooney, yeah, Clooney. I can't see Clooney. Honestly, the only other dude I could really see playing this role is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would get it 10 years later in the form of Deadpool. So,
I mean, there could be some others that could do this. I think maybe, what's this? I can see his face. The voice of Rocket.
Oh, Bradley Cooper, yeah.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. I could see him doing something like that.
Yeah,
Or
you're
maybe,
right. Yeah, I could too.
Yeah.
Did we know who Bradley Cooper was in 2008? When did the first Hangover movie come out?
I'm sure it was around then.
You think so? I honestly don't know.
I don't either.
2009, so the next year. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. When did we start caring about Bradley Cooper? Let's see.
Apparently in 2009.
Because before that, he did
Yes Man.
He did Yes Man, New York, I Love You, Bang, Blow, and Stroke. What the hell is that? The Rocker, Midnight Meat Train. He did The Comebacks. He was in Alias for a few. Failure to Launch, where he's just a sidekick in that.
Mm-hmm.
Law and Order SVU. Everybody was in Law and Order SVU. Yeah, a bunch of.
Yeah, I don't think we really cared until he was in.
Yeah.
Hangover.
Yeah, you're right. The Hangover is what really kind of. And then he does All About Steve, which is terrible. Then he does the A-Team, which I like. I like the A-Team. I think it's kind of fun. Silver Linings Playbook, I think, is where we really realized that he's a good actor, like a really good actor. Yeah. Anyway, and he's done a whole bunch of stuff since, so good for him. Let's see. He's doing Untitled Paul Thomas Anderson Project, something called Nightmare Alley, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and Maestro. Oh, he's going to be playing Leonard Bernstein.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. It's directed by Bradley Cooper. Well,
Cool.
that's kind of cool.
I hope this isn't like. I hope it's not going to be like. God, why can't I think of anything?
Amadeus?
No, not Amadeus. Although, yes. the jazz thing. It's one of my favorite movies.
Whiplash?
Whiplash, yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I hope it's something that I can, since I'm a music teacher, I hope it's something I can share some of it with my class or my students, or recommend it to them. I feel bad recommending Whiplash. I'm like, earmuffs for that one, kids.
All right, time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
We're going to. I love playing that clip for guests who have not listened to the show, and that totally like throws them off. It's just really funny.
I don't get easily thrown off, so I'm good.
No, that's fine. Okay, we decided to do unlikable heroes. Not just the fact that they're, anti-heroes. It's the fact that they're doing good things, but they're just kind of a-holes. And sometimes they're hard to like. And the internet has given me some good options, including you, Jim. You threw a bunch on Twitter, which was great. So actually, Jim, I'll let you go first. Andrew has the honor of going last.
You know what? I don't know if this one counts, but I'm gonna say Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Because he's kind of an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read the books, he's, even the end of Silence of the Lambs, he's kind of like, okay, he's out killing the bad guys.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You got any more?
I gave all my good ones. I gave all my good ones out on Twitter.
Well, I'll read them. I'll read them then real quick. I can't find it. Where is it? Oh crap! I can't find my tweet. This is shoot. Where is it? Click the thing. This is great podcasting. Let's see. You said Leon from Leon the Professional, Rambo, and Han Solo. Which I would, Han Solo for the first half of the first movie, right?
Yep.
And Tom Hardy is Mad Max. Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. Cool. All right. The ones that I wrote down. My number 3 was The Punisher. And pretty much any iteration of that, he kind of is a dick. And he doesn't really care. My number 2, I actually wrote Wolverine, and I'm mostly taking my inspiration from both Logan and his brief appearance, literally very brief appearance. He has 2 words, F off, in X-Men First Class.
First Class, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a dick. He's kind of a dick.
He's kind of a dick even all through being Wolverine.
Yeah, but he's more kind of a likable dick in X-Men 2. Likable dick. Yeah, that sounds like something that should definitely go in the intro, don't you think?
Yeah, that should also potentially be bleeped if it says in the wrong way.
Likable dick. That's funny. I don't know. Yeah, you're Wolverine. My number 1, though, Constantine. John Constantine.
Oh, yeah. Love me, Constantine.
I love that movie,
my favorite.
Too. It's so good.
It's like, I can't wait for number 2. And I never say that. Like, I'm not a sequel guy, but anything Constantine, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
I love the comic, too. So
never read the comic. I just like the movie. Never watched the show, but I loved the movie. We reviewed it, I guess, a while ago, but it's a good movie. What you got, Andrew?
Well, I feel like I kind of missed the mark on this one.
Oh.
Because I had trouble finding, but I did find 3. But as I was listening to you guys, I thought about Rorschach from The Watchmen.
Oh,
that's a good
from
one.
The Watchmen. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he is a super dick.
Yeah. But so I thought about the way that I interpreted our conversation is I chose heroes that I don't like.
That's fine.
So number 1 is Steel, and specifically the one with Shaquille O'Neal in the movie Steel. And I guess that's just because he's terrible. And then Blank Man, which I like the movie, but he's not a hero that any of us would want saving us. And then my wife would hate me for saying this, but Bella Swan from Twilight has got to be the worst. And I guess maybe she's not a hero. I don't know.
Well, she turns at the end, so why not?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we'll
hate
give
this
you that.
You could say Edward.
Yeah, him as well. Anybody in those movies, pretty much. Yeah. And another one. Sorry, another one just came to mind. Jar Jar Binks would be a hero that we love to hate as well.
Yeah. Well, he's also just unlikable because he sucks at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what our friends on Twitter said. Andrew, our good friend, listener Andrew, not you, obviously, Andrew, listener Andrew, said John Connor from Terminator 3, and Boromir from Fellowship of the Ring, though he does get redeemed at the end, but he's not wrong. And Furious from Mystery Men. And he wrote in parentheses, I don't like Ben Stiller. Andrew, you and I are buddies because I don't like Ben Stiller either.
I can take him or leave him. Sometimes he's good.
I just don't like him. Our good friend who will be on next week with us, Cameron from Green Shirt and Newbies Trek through Star Trek, The Next Generation. Sorry, I always mess up his tagline. Snake Plissken, Ashley J. Williams. Who's Ashley J. Williams? I don't know who that is.
I've heard the name.
Ashley J. Williams. Doing a Google search now it's Ash from The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Jerk. Why would you say Ashley?
Know that.
I didn't know that was his last name.
That was the full name.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Ash. Okay. Yeah, Ash is good. That's a good one. And Sawyer from Lost. So thank you, Cameron. And I am slightly embarrassed I didn't know that was his full name, but whatever. What are you going to do? Did we have anybody on the Facebook say anything? I don't think we did. We usually don't. Facebook is not as nice to us as other people.
As the Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is just interesting. People don't talk to me on Facebook. That's okay. And of course, that's facebook.com/cheapseatreviews. That's it. That's all the people that said things, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Sorry. Just want to make sure, because literally last week, I was reading off. Was it last week? Week before? It doesn't matter. I was reading off, people as they kept. Oh, and of course, Jesse. Gosh, Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable wrote every version of Cyclops on screen ever.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, no, he's good. Though I like that actor in the Sonic movie, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I like James Marsden. I like that movie. It was fun. My kids had a blast watching it. So, anyway, that's it. Gosh, that was fun. Time for what? What else? Oh, we do this thing here.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
This is where we give this movie a score. We have to give this movie a score, a rank from 0 to 10. Jim, I would just say embrace the decimal because
we can give decimals.
Yeah, we do decimals because after 300 plus movies, actually after about 40, we started seeing we were having a lot of like 7s and 6s and 5s, and we wanted kind of a way to distinguish the difference between let's see, Ready Player One, which is an 8.782, and Thunder Road, which is an 7.825.
Nice.
Yeah, we had to find a way to get there. As compared to Shutter Island, which is a 7.93, just a little bit better. So, and Atonement, which is a 7.6. So there you go. So
good average.
Yeah, Andrew, you're up, sir.
Well, like I said, it's just kind of bleh and predictable. So I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
1.
5.1, is that what you said?
Actually, let's do, yeah. 5.1.
All right. Jim, what you got?
going to be a little bit more generous than Andrew because I did love seeing someone's head up someone's ass. So that gets extra points. So I'm going to give it a 5.64.
Okay. That sounds fun. I like this movie. I think it's fun. I don't really have any problems with it. I'd watch it again. I recommend anyone listening to this that if you want to watch it, go watch it. I think it's a fun movie if you're looking for a good time. Are there way better superhero movies out there? Yeah, pretty much anything in the MCU, even Thor 1, which I don't think is a good movie, but that's okay. It's still probably a little bit better than this. Actually, I would think I'd rather watch this than Thor personally. But that's not here or there. I'm going to give it a 7 because I like this movie. I think it's fine. I think it's, it's good. And
not 7.05?
No, just a 7 because that gives me a nice average of 5.913, and that's a good number.
Okay.
That puts it in league with other such movies as The Last Dragon. And
I can see that.
Enola Holmes. I spelled Holmes wrong. I wrote Enola Holes.
Nice.
That's funny.
That's a different movie.
That is a different movie. Jesus. Oh,
I think I've seen that one too, but
I hope not.
Had to pay for that one.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Enola Holes. I can't believe I wrote that. That's okay. One of my clips for tonight is when I wrote butt ass naked, I spelled naked Neakad.
naked.
Neakad, I think is how you actually pronounce that. The last little thing here that we do is our quote game. Now, none of us knew the quote from last week. Fortunately,
what was that? Actually, no. I do know what it was. I went and looked it up.
Oh.
And I felt bad for not knowing what it was.
I've not seen Kill Bill Volume 2. I've only seen Kill Bill Volume 1. So I'm a little bit excused. But we did have a couple people send me Facebook messages saying, hey, or on Twitter, hey, this is what that quote's from. So I appreciate you for one, listening, and two, participating. So that was very nice of you to do. Tonight's quote, quote number 22, I think we all know this one, but we'll see. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. So I think we all know that.
I've heard that in a few movies, though.
Yeah, that's been in a few movies.
That has been, in a few, but it's.
I seem to think Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that.
He might have said that in a Terminator kind of a thing or whatever, but I'm pretty sure the line this is quoting is from RoboCop.
It's from Verhoeven film. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll just go ahead and say it, but. Is that a Verhoeven?
Oh yeah, RoboCop is a Verhoeven film. I'm a huge Verhoeven fan.
For some reason, I had Verhoeven mixed in with who's my guy, Andrew? He did
Peter Jackson.
No, he did Die Hard.
John McTiernan.
McTiernan. I had Verhoeven and McTiernan. I guess because their names make me think of different accents for some reason. I don't know why.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it. That's our show. We have no more things to say except, Jim, tell people who are listening to this show how they can find yours.
Well, they can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Film Rage YYC. You can find us on TikTok, I think also at Film Rage YYC. You can find us on our website because we still have ours. And there's lots of content in there, so go dig in and have fun with that. It's at filmrageyyc.com. And you can send us an email at filmragecalgary@gmail.com.
What does YYC stand for?
It's the airport codes. So I'm not sure if it's a big thing up in Canada. Like if you go on to Twitter or you're doing a hashtag, YYC is our city for Calgary. So it's the representation of the airport. So, I mean, if you're in New York, you could be hooped because there's a couple.
I'm still confused. Why is it YYC for Calgary? What's the Y?
Well, probably the C portion. Calgary. Calgary, man.
Okay.
I don't know where the Y's come from.
It's like did LL Cool J come up with these things? Like,
Yo. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think Edmonton, which is our next big city in our province, I think is YEG. So that doesn't even also make sense. But whatever. I didn't invent it.
I'm just like, I'm interested to know like if all of the Canadian ones start with Y.
Don't know. I'll look.
You don't have to.
I'll look it up. I'm curious.
Well, I do want to acknowledge one that you are living in Canada, which makes you our first international guest, which is super cool.
What?
I know. I think that's awesome. You're breaking records for us. I think that's cool. And yeah, here we're CLT. That's the Charlotte one we live in. Is CLT, and I guess Andrew, the closest one you would be to would be PTO.
PTI.
PTI. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a PTO.
No, it's not paid time off. It is PTI, Piedmont Triad International, which always makes me think of pardon the interruption. But anyway, it's PTI.
Okay, so the major ones in Canada all do start with Y. So we are YYC, Edmonton's YEG, Fredericton, which is out east, is YFC. Yeah. Everything starts with Y. I don't get it. Maybe it's when they created them as international airports, we were at the bottom of the list. It happens to us all the time. People kind of forget about Canada. You know, we're only the second area largest country, but, you know, we're kind of forgettable sometimes. We're humble, quiet, unassuming people.
You only have just, some of the best healthcare, and you have the nice, pretty side of the falls, and
we got poutine, which is like, who doesn't love poutine?
I don't even know what it is, but you're right. You do have it. You have weird space money though, because it has holes in it or something. But anyway,
it's purdy money.
No, I'll have to tell you off air about how I was almost not allowed into Canada, and then almost not allowed back into the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun story. That's our podcast. That's our show. We are Cheapseat Reviews. You can find all of our links to things that we do at cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. That's the closest thing we have to a website because we're lame. And if you're listening to this, to us, you know that. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, those are our links. Go there, like and subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. That's the best way to ensure you're getting great content like this. Also, please leave us a review. Oh, we had a review recently. I got to read a review. Crap. I forgot. I got to read this before we get off the air. Because it was so...
Yeah, we do, because it doesn't happen often.
It really doesn't happen very often.
They don't happen often. When you do, you got to celebrate them.
Oh my gosh, it was so lovely. It was a listener. Her name's Rosie, and she is part of the Brown Coat community. I was kind of connected with her through the Sudden But Inevitable podcast, and she's been. I sent her some stickers, and she put the Cheapseat Review sticker on her computer, like not just on a thing that she'll never look at. It's on her computer that she looks at every day, which is just so nice. So Rosie said, "Fun and knowledgeable" is the name of the episode, or the name of the review. She said, "I enjoy every episode I listen to. Interesting 5-word reviews of what they cover. Here's my 5-word review. Fun, knowledgeable, honest, back and forth. Watch the movie, then listen to their podcast. You will learn a lot." That is just the nicest thing ever.
Yeah, very nice.
And Rosie, I have said multiple times on Twitter, is literally the nicest person on Twitter. And she just continues to prove that time and time again. So go follow her. If you want to give her some love and support on Twitter, you should do that. She is, I bet you if she's listening, she's really kind of freaking out right now. Rosalita9899. Go follow at Rosalita9899. Give her some love. She's the best. She's at 599 followers right now on Twitter. Let's see if we can't get her up there a little bit more. All right. That's the show. That's going to do it. Thank you, Jim, so much. This was a blast. We really appreciate it. And on behalf of Jim and Andrew, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Reviews.